Hayden. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I am good. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Same.
It's been about a week, so how has that week gone?
It was good. I just hung out with my family over the weekend, just did some homework. It wasn't really anything crazy.
Okay. How are you feeling showing up for therapy today?
I'm a little anxious, if I'm being honest. I have been enjoying our visits, but it's just like very unsettling. Just because like I had an episode this past weekend, and I'm feeling like a lot of shame and guilt sitting here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that a little bit. So what do you mean by episode? What happened?
So like as you know, like I have an eating disorder, and I was with my family, and we had this just like really big meal, and I just had all of this anxiety around like what this food would make me look like what would it do to me, how it would make me feel. And I know I've been trying to be better about like my disordered eating habits, but I had a bulimic episode and I just threw it all up. And then after doing that, like I obviously didn't feel any better, and I just felt worse and felt all this shame that I'm trying to be better, and I'm still not meeting the mark, and I'm still not trying to make myself feel better.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me. It sounds like a really hard situation.
Mm-hmm.
I know it can kind of feel like a setback, but sometimes we take one step forward and 3 steps backward, and then that's slowly how we move forward.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you want to get out of therapy today? With you sharing that with me, kind of what is your goal?
I think for me, especially just like showing up today and, kind of showing up for myself, like I'm hoping to receive more hope about my situation, to receive some guidance, and I guess just like some support. Is like I haven't told anyone else but you, and I think just like trying to learn how to build more social support in my life surrounding just what I'm going through.
Yeah, I think that's a great goal. Well, as of right now, like, do you have any social support that's kind of helping you through working with your disordered eating?
I mean, my roommate, I think probably knows, as I know she's probably heard me before. My family, though, doesn't really know about anything. They just think I'm just seeing a therapist about some like anxiety that I'm experiencing like around school. They don't really know the whole aspect of my problem, just because like they still see me as this like perfect straight A student who's doing all these things and like achieving all these goals, and I don't want to let them down, and so I haven't really said anything to my family.
Okay. That is valid. That makes sense. You said something earlier about feeling shame.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to hear a little bit more about that, because your family doesn't know what you've been going through and you've been keeping it from them. Is there shame tied to that?
Definitely, and that just like my family expects me to like be this perfect straight A student. They expect me to, achieve all these goals and like be the perfect daughter. At least like that's my perspective. And so I feel shame when I'm not able to give that to them, and I still keep making the same mistakes and hurting myself.
Okay. Well, I want to talk a little bit about like those expectations that you're setting for yourself, because has your family like outwardly told you that they need you to be perfect and they need you to be the straight A student?
No, but they just definitely like talk about me a lot with like the neighbors and people at our church and people at their like jobs, and like I always see like all these comments on my mom's Facebook posts whenever she's posting about me, and they're like, you have such a perfect daughter, like she's so great. And I just feel like I'm like living a lie, and that like I'm bringing shame just because that's not who I am.
Do you feel like they've put you on a little bit of a pedestal?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a bar that you feel like you can't reach?
Definitely.
That's really hard. That's really hard.
Yeah.
Well, maybe today we could focus a little bit more on how we can reframe things for you and put things into your perspective.
Okay.
Could I introduce something to you, a therapy?
For sure.
So it's called narrative therapy.
Okay.
And it's about looking at your life as like a story, and you're the author.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes the way we tell our story can make us feel stuck or defined by our problems.
Mm-hmm.
And in this kind of therapy, we explore those stories together, separate you from the problem, and look for times you've shown strength, choice, or resilience.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is to help you shape a story that feels more true to you and empowering and hopeful.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So kind of to where like I'm trying to like reshape my experiences into something more hopeful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and something that can like empower you to move forward.
Okay.
Because you don't need to be perfect, and especially like in this space, you can be authentically yourself. No one, like, I am not expecting perfection from you.
Okay.
And we're just gonna work through this together and see what we can do. So I want us to think of a goal. Okay, so what would a goal be to help you like challenge this thought? Because let's think of, before we go there, let's think of a thought. So what comes like a stuck point? What comes to your head when you start to think about like your disordered eating and like the shame that comes along with it? What have you been telling yourself in the past?
Like before I engage in those behaviors?
Or after? Like what do you tell yourself like in the past? You engage in disordered eating, and then what do you tell yourself after that kind of just keeps you in this low point of like, you mentioned that you feel like you're living a lie and that you aren't living up to expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and you just feel like you can't do anything right.
Right.
So what's something that you tell yourself that makes you feel like this way? Like, is there like something you tell yourself like in your head, you're like, oh, like I feel like because I do this, like I am not a good person, or I am not honoring my family, or anything like that?
Yeah, like I think especially like after I engage in those disordered eating habits, and like yeah, like I feel that like guilt and shame that I brought up. Like I just bring up like I'm broken, I'm not perfect. I have to hurt myself to feel seen by my family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like a lot of things that I kind of keep saying to myself, that in order to feel seen and be seen as perfect, I have to hurt myself.
It's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that in order for you to feel like this perfect daughter, this perfect sibling,
Mm-hmm.
you need to hurt yourself in order to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go a little bit deeper into that. Like, what makes you feel that you need to hurt yourself? Like, what are you getting out of hurting yourself that makes you feel like you're a better daughter?
But like I'm able to like still like look skinny and look pretty, and that I'm able to, you know, not just like have like these good grades or whatever, but like I'm able to just like look like I'm like radiating goodness just because of like how small and good I look, and that if I look that way, like I can make my family proud of me.
Okay, so not to put words in your mouth, but what I'm hearing is your outwardly appearance you feel needs to be quote like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be the perfect daughter, you need to look the part.
Yeah.
And you feel like looking the part is this skinny, super skinny person. Okay. What do you feel like you look like now?
I feel like I always look bloated. I feel like I'm lazy and I'm trying to take the like easy way out, and that I just look ugly, and I just like look fat, especially because like my mom was she was a beauty queen, and like she also did fitness competitions and bodybuilding competitions. Like she did all these things, and she still looks great, and I feel like I have to look that way too.
So, in order for you to kind of be perfect, you need to look the way your mom does.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be like your mom?
Not entirely. Like, my mom and I are very different people, like, personality-wise. But, like, she's found a lot of success through, at least, like, how I feel like through, like, how she looks and presents herself. And I feel like if I can do that too, then I can also be successful.
So success.
Yeah.
I'm hearing success.
Yeah.
What do you define? What would you feel like would make you successful?
Obviously graduating from college, getting a high-paying job, maybe eventually getting married and starting a family.
Didn't hear anything about the way you look in that sentence.
Yeah, I guess you'd be right. I guess I tie it to that. To get to that level of success, I have to do this first.
Okay. Well, let's try some like new ways of thinking.
Okay.
So, one of the things you said earlier is that you were broken. How can we make you the author of your own story and separate you from the thought and act as if this thought is like its own character? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What would that thought be? If it's its own thing, it's not tied to you anymore.
That brokenness comes from bulimia. It's not me. I'm not a broken person. I'm just engaging in a broken practice.
Yeah. How does that feel to say that?
It feels good because it's like not saying that I have bulimia. It's just that bulimia is affecting me, and that I am not broken myself, but rather I'm just engaging in broken habits that make me feel that way.
Yeah. I think doing this, it's so important because you're not tying this feeling to yourself. It's not your identity.
Mm-hmm.
You are not bulimic.
Mm-hmm.
You are experiencing bulimic habits.
Mm-hmm.
Bulimia is not who you are.
Yeah.
Is that something, when I say that, is that something that you feel like you can believe? Or is it kind of I don't know.
It's something that I want to believe, that I have a desire to believe that bulimia is not me, bulimia is not my entire identity, but it's hard when it's become such a big part of my life that it feels like it's so integrated within myself.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, that's definitely something that I want to believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think wanting it is the first step into making you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I would want you to try would be, when this thought starts to come in, reframe it.
Okay.
I am broken. I need to be the perfect daughter. I am bulimic. Separating yourself and making it its own character. And so it's not saying who you are. It's just what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't have to be what I'm saying. This is your story. You are the author. You create the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, to where because it's like you were saying about I bulimia is not me, I'm just experiencing bulimia, or even just being a perfect daughter. I am a daughter, and that I'm feeling that these levels of perfection, that's not who I am. I'm not. There's no such thing as being perfect, but that I'm experiencing feelings of perfection.
Yeah, you're getting it.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
So, what does your problem, what does it try to convince you?
I think, at least like from the bulimic side, like it's trying to convince me that engaging in this practice is gonna make me perfect. And then those feelings of perfection, like they're kind of like going off of each other. Like in order to like you know, resolve these feelings of like not being perfect, I have to engage in bulimia. And so they're almost like bouncing off of each other. That is like, if I combine them, then like I'm gonna be okay. Like I'm gonna reach that level that I believe is correct.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thinking, I feel like what you just said has like so much power to it, of like the perfection and like the bulimia are tied together.
Mm-hmm.
And I want us to challenge it.
Okay.
That if I look a certain way and I engage in these like self-harming habits, that I will be perfect. What is perfect? What could perfect look like without the bulimia?
That I'm getting good grades, that I'm engaging in my community, I'm supporting my family. That is like, I guess, like a level of perfection.
Yeah. And we talked about success earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Is perfection the goal or is success the goal?
I guess I would say that success is the goal. That I want to be successful and I want to be happy.
Be happy.
Yeah.
This is the first time you've said that you want to be happy.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
I want you to be happy. And I feel like that moment right there, that phrase that you want to be happy, like that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a new goal that we can put?
I would agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Just trying to be happy.
Yes. So let's think about in your life right now.
Yeah.
Like we're not thinking about years down the road when you graduate and all those things. What could make you happy now?
Well, I think just engaging more with my friends at school, going out more. Like I'm always invited to these like things, but like I don't want to throw up while we're hanging out, so I just don't go. So just hanging out with friends more and going to parties and going to you know, different events. Like I feel like that would bring me some joy, or being able to be more open and honest with my family. I think that would definitely help as well.
I think opening up could be a great first step. And everything is at your own pace as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to narrative therapy, we've talked about how like you are the maker of your own story. What is something, let's create a story. Okay?
Okay.
Let's create one, and let's not think about perfection. Let's think about what you deem to make you happy and what you deem is successful. And let's create a story or a thought that basically challenges those other ones that are creeping in.
Okay.
Could we create one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do we think? Let's brainstorm.
No, okay. Like, if I want to like create my own story and, you know, be happy and achieve those goals, just like I'm a successful student, I'm able to hang out with friends, and I have a support system there with people who want to love me and who want to support me, and I'm able to be open, and I'm able to have honest conversations with them, and I'm able to really be my authentic self and live authentically.
Yes. I love that. That's a great story.
Okay.
Okay. One thing I've really liked is that you did a good job at like not mentioning perfection and not mentioning your body.
Mm-hmm.
your body, as long as it's functioning and healthy in the sense of keeping you focused in school, and you can walk up and down the stairs of your university building, and all the things, then that's what your body's made to do, and that's healthy. Right?
Yeah.
And this idea of perfection and needing to be skinny like your mom, you already said you and your mom are very different.
Yeah.
And I guarantee your mom isn't perfect. Right? Do you think your mom's perfect?
No.
Okay. So, if you want to be like your mom, you need to not be perfect.
Yeah. Well, because I don't think she's perfect, but I've had this perspective that her body's perfect.
Yeah.
But I am kind of understanding that those are two different things.
Yeah. I mean, these thoughts just don't go away on their own. But I think if we can change the narrative of how you view yourself and what your goals are, because if a goal of yours isn't to be skinny, but is to be healthy, then that's something you can work towards. If the goal isn't this body type, but is to be able to keep your body in the way that it needs to be in order to get you to where you need to go, then that's what's important. So can we construct those thoughts of wanting to be healthy instead of wanting to be skinny?
Yeah.
When I say that, do you feel like you can believe it?
I have a hard time believing it.
Yeah.
But the desire is there to where ultimately I think underlying all these things, I just want to be healthy and happy, but my brain is just turning those phrases into I need to be perfect, and I need to look a certain way, and I need to act a certain way. But I think those statements of being healthy and happy are good.
Healthy, happy, and successful.
Yes.
Have there been any times where you've pushed back on these thoughts successfully?
At the beginning, yeah, I kept fighting it to where I was I know that if I maybe engage in this, I can't go back, but I just became so desperate to achieve that identity that I just went headfirst into this is how I'm going to be able to achieve that. But I definitely want to try to challenge someone.
Okay. I think trying is the first step. What do you think? Another great thing about narrative therapy is a tool you can use, which is journaling. Do you journal?
I haven't before, but I could definitely try it.
I think if we want to try this narrative therapy, you could start a journal, and you can start deconstructing these thoughts in your writing, and you can create your own story. So you can separate the problem from yourself and be this is what I'm feeling, this is how I feel the story is going, this is how I want the story to change. And then you can come back, you can bring your journal next week, and then we can go through it together, and we can see how you've reframed those thoughts, and if anything's working, what isn't, what can we do to maybe help you move forward. Do you feel like that's something we could do?
Yeah.
Okay, do you feel like this is a good place to stop, or is there anything else on your mind?
I feel good, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I have some goals and just kind of reframing what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, and I think just putting it to where it's in a narrative that's supporting and helping me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feel like we can stop here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will see you next week.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.